If I had to give advice to my younger self about overthinking, I would say I know how productive you think you are being by allowing every possible thought to arrive at the forefront of your brain, but you're taking so many steps back that you might not even realize for weeks or months to come. These tiny little thoughts that you are letting show up and stay in this kind of non-existent space. I mean, obviously our brains, exist, but you're not doing anything with these thoughts but keeping them bottled inside and allowing them to become panic. You might think, okay, I got it out, I thought it through, and maybe it won't affect you for a day or two, but in a couple weeks, some of these thoughts might show back up. These patterns are going to become developed patterns. It's going to be a habit of negative thinking and overthinking and overanalyzing, and you just might find yourself shutting down, falling apart, kind of unable to hold the weight of weeks and weeks of that kind of thinking piling on top. One of the biggest misconceptions I think that a lot of people have about overthinking is that you are always fully aware that you're doing it, and it is a fully conscious and intentional choice to kind of panic or stress out, when truly, a lot of times, for some of us, not all, I don't know all the people, for some of us, it is time after time, yes, it's been, of repeating this pattern that is now like not even like that conscious of a thought. It's just like a thing that happens, like, oh, I'm stressed out. Well, now all of a sudden I'm overthinking, right? That's the part of the everyday, like habitual patterned overthinking that I'm doing. And then there's the part of, again, for some of us that have anxiety disorders, that have parts of our brains that, we don't really fully have control over it. We've allowed ourselves to not do the healthy recovery from the thing that we don't have control over, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying that it's fully just involuntary, the entire experience of overthinking and shutting down, but it does start to feel that way to the person that is doing the overthinking. And then on the complete other side of it, it looks like something that you just need to snap out of. Just get yourself together. Stop overthinking. And it's just like, thank you. Thank you so much for that valuable advice. I'm just going to cut it out. I have realized that whether it is my character flawed, choosing to overanalyze and go way too negative and self-deprecating, and I am now in this patterned behavior, or whether it is the product of neurological complications that I have dealt with since childhood, and I can't necessarily, just control those things right away. I've learned that there's always something that I can do, especially in the recovery and even in the preparation for overthinking. So, not always thinking, okay, how do I solve this problem at hand? But how do I recover from it? And better yet, how do I prepare just in case this issue presents itself again? One of the main things for me when it comes to recovery, when I catch myself overthinking, no matter where on the, whatever it lies, no matter what the reason is, I like to get out a journal or a notebook. Those are the same thing. I meant to say my notes app. And I do not issue a public apology, but I do write down, I type out all the stuff that I'm overthinking about. I just type it out, type it out, type it out, type it out, type it out. And depending on what the topic is, depending on what's going on in life, I might pray about that, give that to the Lord. I might take it to my therapist and be like, hey, girl, look what I thought about over the weekend. Or I might screenshot it, send it to a friend and say, hey, just felt like I needed to be held accountable. Because sometimes when I look back at it, I'm like, I need support. I need prayer. I need therapy right now. Sometimes though, when I look back at it, I'm like, oh girl, you good. None of this stuff is likely to happen and you're okay. It's not going to break you. I'm just going to close this little notes app and go do something else with my day. Sometimes it also looks like talking it out with a friend, not always writing it out, but for me, looking at the things that I am can really, really help me to process, okay, what is something realistic I should be thinking about? Because thinking is not inherently bad. Spending a lot of dedicated and committed time thinking about something is not bad. It's the part where you start to self-deprecate and create panic and lose the ability to recover from something that we likely created for ourselves. That's when it gets a little murky. So a lot of times if I write or type it out, I can actually visually see, oh, 10% of this might be the thing worth worrying about, the thing worth being concerned about. And that's where I'm going to focus my time. The other 90%, glad I wrote it down, glad I got it out. It's the keeping it inside that is dangerous. It's the harboring it like it has no place to go. That's dangerous. I often say in any type of songwriting session or lesson or anything, I don't really believe that there's such thing as a bad song. I just believe that we have to know where to place them. So if you spend your whole life thinking, I gotta get this song to be the number one on radio, when really the song that you're writing might be the number one in your community or the number one in your home or the number one on TikTok. I don't know. I don't know where your song is gonna go. But be intentional about not harboring it inside and figuring out, okay, where do I place this and where does it land? A way that I will oftentimes prepare for moments of overthinking. This is a little bit more in the communicative and the verbal side of things. I have specific people in my life that are really good at listening and also really good at saying, now, do you think that's the truth? Or is that what your brain is telling you? Or some, relatively petty, I'm just kidding, they have full permission, but like some version of you good, you get it out, and not to put me down, not to make me feel bad about myself, but to help me be aware of who I truly am instead of the domino effect thoughts that are telling me that I'm something that I'm not. I'm grateful to have people in my life that help me focus in on the reality of things. And that's how sometimes I'll prepare for these moments. If I feel myself overthinking, if I feel myself overanalyzing, I will tell them I have a lot on my mind. I need to get it out. I need to talk it out. I think I need to go look at the sky really quick because I've been harboring inside. I've been hunkering down too long. I have to get